CrossroadsIRL.com.
Have the choice to leave to go to a different place. You don't have to stay there, but watch what he says, which is the most powerful part, folks. And if you can fast forward, Rob, and go to right about there, play it from right there. Watch this. Go ahead.
The mayor's office to protect tenants, bringing code enforcement under one roof and making sure that agencies are working together to hold bad landlords accountable.
Watch.
Starting on day one, we will expand the city's special enforcement programs, doubling fines for hazardous violations and tripling them for conditions that are immediately dangerous. And when a really bad landlord, like this guy, refuses to fix it, the city's going to step in, make the repairs, and send them the bill.
Okay, watch next.
If that doesn't work, the city's taking over the building. We're putting the worst landlords out of business. And we're going to transform 311.
Go back 5 seconds. Go back 5 seconds. Go back right there. Say it again. Listen, folks. Go ahead.
Like this guy refuses to fix it, the city's going to step in, make the repairs, and send them the bill. If that doesn't work...
Well, this is one of the campaign videos that Zoran Mamdani put out during his successful mayoral campaign. And one of the things that baffles me is when the people who are meant to vote, the voters, cheer on when someone says, we're going to take this thing that belongs to this business person, and because we feel like he's not running it well, or we feel like he's not being fair, we're going to do this, we're going to force this on him, and if he still doesn't make any changes, then we're going to take his business from him. And the voters cheer, and they vote him in. Most of the people who cheer are mostly people who have never run a business in their lives. They don't know the complexities of managing buildings, of payroll, of running a business, of managing vendors. They can't predict the market forces that come up. They can't predict the weather that changes things and drives costs up. And suddenly the state believes that they can step in and literally take over a business simply because the people cheered them on when they were making these promises. Now, what they don't realize is that this is the authoritarianism that they claim that President Trump is going to exercise on the American people. They claim that they don't want an authoritarian in office, yet in New York, they overwhelmingly voted for someone who told them that he was going to be an authoritarian.
Over the building. We're putting the worst landlords out of business. And we're going to transform 311 by bringing the latest in cutting-edge technology.
Yeah, Ben Phillips, shout out to him. He sent this clip to me. And he says, we're going to take over the building.
So it's theirs. It's the city's.
So you mean like seize the means of production?
That's
like
exactly
communists?
Wait a minute.
So he's saying the quiet part out loud,
yes,
and people voted for it.
That's right.
I think saying that they're saying the quiet part out loud has become an old trope. It's no longer the quiet part. Young people who have been educated, if you want to call what they get in higher institutions today education, they've been brainwashed into believing that communism and socialism is a good thing. They literally hate the system that has afforded them the way of life, that gives them the time and the resources to go out there and protest fictitious movements or fictitious problems that don't exist. And they literally bite the hand that is feeding them. Most of them have wealthy parents, and most of these college kids are estranged from their from their parents because the professor told them that their parents were evil. Now, even though the promises that Zoran Mamdani made to his voters isn't a blow for blow or a word for word representation of what we're about to watch, this is Hugo Chavez, by the way, the former president of Venezuela, who essentially brought in and enacted socialist and communist policies. What he would do was he would walk around the city with a crowd of sycophants, and you're going to see what they do. He walks around, he asks about businesses and buildings, who owns that building, who owns that business, and then they tell him who, and then he says it's been expropriated. Essentially, the government has taken over the business. And guess what the people around him do? Do they complain? Are they concerned? Are they wondering wow, can he really do that? Should he really be doing that? No, they cheer. So whenever communism shows up and socialism shows up, it's not met with concern. It's not met with fear or trepidation. It's met with celebration and with cheers and loud applause. I heard someone say democracy and freedom doesn't die with loud explosions. It dies with cheers and applause. And this is actually what New York has decided to vote for. There are people in my audience and out there who believe that Zoran's promises is the middle finger to the 1% who have been keeping the little guy under their thumb for many years. And this is us flipping the table. Well, the people in Venezuela thought that they were flipping the table. And what they didn't realize was that they were flipping the table on themselves, because the very forces that ensured that they had jobs, that the infrastructure that basically ran the cities and the country were run by these oppressors, were going to be destroyed by these actions that Chavez was actually doing with great gusto. In the wake of Zoran's win, there are people who still have a long memory of what happened in countries like Cuba. And the governor of Florida is stating what every one of them and a few of us still remember, that promises like this were made by dictators and despots many years ago. The world was full of them. They promised free everything because, the previous government was keeping the poor people down. And when they got into office, they did way worse than the people they replaced. And the people who still remember those incidents live in the United States. They are screaming at the top of their lungs, saying, this is a bad idea, don't do it. And the young guys who have no clue what's going on are screaming over their grandmas and uncles, saying, you don't know how to operate an iPhone, why should I listen to you?
Cuban exiles tell me, like when they were listening to Mamdani, it sounded awful familiar with what Fidel Castro was promising back in the late 1950s. It never works out well. He's tried all these things. All the things he claims he's going to do have been tried in the past, and the results are going to be bad.
Throughout the last few days, I've seen conversations around the fact that New York City should be allowed to carry out this experiment. There are people who are saying that they will have a change of mind and turn around and get some common sense as soon as they see that the consequences for choosing a socialist or choosing someone who is fundamentally an Islamic extremist, because he hangs out with people who were associated or connected to the 9/11 attack on New York. But who's talking about that? It's all a big misunderstanding. But when we look at history, we find that it's easy to let the fox into the hen house. But once the fox is in the hen house, the hens can't seem to get the fox out of the hen house. And so after this grand experiment that many people think is going to fail or believe will fail because history tells us it will fail, how is New York going to recover from electing a socialist Muslim extremist as the governor of New York? Is it an extreme classification or identification of Zoran? Zoran himself, with his own words, placed himself as a socialist and also an extremist, because everyone has seen those speeches and rallies that he spoke at about his convictions about the state of Israel, about Sharia and Islam, about Islamophobia. He's about all that. And you guys have brought in the fox into the hen house, and I wonder how you're going to get him out.
Subscribe.
Thanks for watching, liking, and sharing this video. Please subscribe, leave a super thank, and join my membership to keep me doing this. A huge thank you to my supporters listed on the screen. Thank you for your donations and membership.
Thanks for watching.